Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, Mesdames et Messieurs les ambassadeurs,
Ambassadors, President of GCAT, Director of the French DGA, Presidents, General Officers, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. It is for me a great pleasure to declare open this 12th edition of the International Exhibition of Land, Defense and Security, Eurosatory. 2 years ago, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here for the opening because I had been called to fly to Kabul after the death of several French fighters in theater. It is my friend Kader Arif, whom I would like to salute today, who had replaced me with the great talent that we all know he has. Therefore, I would like to tell you that I am doubly pleased to be here today. First of all, because the previous edition of Eurosatory had not been able to be opened for myself, and I was very sorry for that, for the reasons that you can imagine. Your very presence is the confirmation that Eurosatory is a major event in the world and a major event in the world of defense. Mr. President, you have quoted some figures, more than 1,500 exhibitors, more than 160 official delegations, 58,000 expected visitors, 130 different countries. It's a strong signal of the attractivity of our country and of the dynamism of its defense industry. This attractiveness, this dynamism find their root in a long practice in France in the field of land defense. Our joint forces and our army in particular, which are our pride, bring every day in all the theaters where they're deployed the proof of their excellence and of the excellence of the equipment that they use. And after some 18 years of deployment of our land units in the Sahelian belt, go over the lessons learned with you at my level, at my modest level, about the use of land armament. It is very positive. These lessons are very positive. When the Serval operation in Mali was started in January 2013, there were, for us, new challenges and serious challenges. This major operation was not at all comparable to our intervention deployment in Afghanistan, even if we were still present in Afghanistan at the time in a significant way, although we are still present now. The dimension of the theater of operation, 2.5 times the area of France, and a maneuver constantly on the move have imposed to us new strong constraints. First of all, a need for the ruggedness of equipment to be able to function in extreme conditions, be it temperatures higher than 45 degrees in the shade. I have even experienced 55 degrees in the shade, or the presence of sand and of rocks and gravel. Second, there needs to be a large mobility, a great mobility of resources and means to preserve the velocity of the maneuver, and also long distances to be covered in this immense theater for communications, for logistics, and of course a firepower which has to be superior to that of the enemy in terms of range and accuracy to be able to fight in urban contexts but in desert areas as well. Here are the 4 new conditions which we've been confronted with and which we've been able to turn to our advantage thanks to the excellence of our forces, and here I would like to salute their professionalism, their courage, their determination, determination, and we've been able to do that thanks to the equipment that we've been able to use. I would like to say here that our deployment has been strengthened by the acquisition made in a situation of operational emergencies. Basing ourselves on the lessons learned in Central Asia, we've been able to reinforce some capacities, to strengthen some capacities. I'm thinking of the protection of armored infantry fighting vehicles against rocket fire by the procedures of urgency operations, which has ensured an effective delivery of equipment a few months only after the request on the part of the General Staff. I'm thinking also of the acquisition of means which have improved in a very quick way the protection and the nighttime surveillance of the AMX-10 RCR tanks. I'm thinking of the delivery also of the JRE terminals, which have enabled us to improve the communication tactical data L16 for the follow-up of tactical on the monitoring of tactical situations. Well, whilst our defense is of course facing difficult constraints, and given conditions of engagement which we can consider as extreme, the velocity of our deployment, the performance that we've been able to display have shown in a magisterial way the efficiency of the means that we were implementing. What is at the root of the efficiency of these resources and equipment is the coherent, the consistent set that we have. Highly performing equipment, thanks to our army and to the French procurement agency and to our industrialists. We have cadres who are formed in our school, trained in our schools, resting on a know-how which is constantly renewed, and a doctrine which enables us to conceptualize our operations, and a capability approach, including all these factors, ensuring our military capacity and efficacy. Praise should therefore be given to the actors of the community of defense, whether they are civilian, military, government department, or industrialists. What these results show is the justified anticipation at the time of the specification and the design of these equipment. And it is also the justification of a capability approach. It is the talent and the commitment of the teams which have devoted themselves to that task. This brief return over the lessons learned by the way of the Serval operation in Mali allows me, therefore, to be very confident in the capacity and capabilities of the land equipment that we have chosen and of those who designed them, so that we can meet the challenges which are expecting us. It is in this spirit that the Ministry of Defense is carrying its plan of acquisitions. I would like to say here that the evaluation of the year 2013 is very positive, because objectives in terms of deliveries have been reached. I'm not going to give an exhaustive inventory of what was delivered in 2013, but I would just like to remind you that there were more than 4,036 Félin systems, more than 1,500 tank-carrying vehicles, 130 light armored vehicles, 83 armored combat vehicles, etc. And for the year 2014, the perspectives are to be understood within the framework of the military programming law, which has been approved by Parliament in last December. I would like to tell you that whilst taking on board the constraints weighing on our public finances, and this is totally justified, this military programming law remains ambitious. Of course, the contracts have had to be reviewed to adapt to the new model arising from the white paper, but beautiful prospects and perspectives in terms of orders and deliveries are promised for this year. And later on, I will come back to the Scorpion program, which I know that you're expecting me to talk about it. But in 2014, we will carry on with the delivery of small PPTs, of single rocket launchers and multiple rocket launchers, of more than 4,000 Félin equipment, etc., to remain in the previous slide. To reach these objectives, I know that I can count rather on the efforts of all the actors in the field of defense. I'm thinking in particular about the DGA, the French Army Procurement Agency, and the Army, which are totally aware of what's at stake, both economically and operationally, and who are totally mobilized in that direction. What is at stake is to enable our forces to carrying on operating with the best world standard and to see their efficiency recognized in future as it is today. To maintain our sovereignty, as you know, we have to make investments to prepare the future. And in this way, the DGA has recently started a consultation process at European level for the renewal of our assault rifle. It is a major program which will succeed the FAMAS rifle, which is well known. And I come back to the well-known and Scorpion program. I would like to remind you, but of course you know that its objective is to renew and modernize the resources and equipment of the joint tactical groupings. It aims at endowing the army with first-rank action capabilities at combat level. This will go by this will be done by the acquisition of armored combat vehicles in replacement of the VAB, which will be 40 years old in 2016, and then by the acquisition of the Recce and combat armored vehicles, replacing the AMX-10 RC tanks. And there will be also, amongst new programs, the acquisition of a new system, or unified information and combat system, replacing the heterogeneous information terminals at present time. But the Scorpion program will also enable us to maintain the capability of the Leclerc tank right on to 2040. It will also ensure that our operational preparation tools will be maintained and modernized. The commitments that have been confirmed recently by the President of the French Republic for the budget of defense allow me to announce that I am starting this program very soon. The first deliveries will therefore be done in 2018 for the combat armored vehicle, and at the beginning of 2020 for the reconnaissance combat armored equipment. This launch is a tremendous opportunity for French industrialists and for their network of subcontractors, SMEs. It is an opportunity for developing two new families of modern vehicles together with their equipments. What is at stake is to be able to continue to improve their positioning on the export market in areas, in sectors which would see a net growth in the next few years. The VBMR, the armored vehicle, will renew the sector of armored TTV. 6x6, this sector is growing, in particular for vehicles which carry the best systems, including optronics, vetronics, fire detection, navigation. The EBRC will be equipped by the MMP for a new mid-range missile for the army, and it will have also the 40mm telescope cannon, the new standard of medium caliber developed and qualified for Franco-British cooperation. It has all the assets to be successful, in particular because of its performance in urban areas. It could be tempting, ladies and gentlemen, especially in these difficult times for budgets, to sacrifice our future interest to preserve our short and mid-term interests. But this is not my vision of things. In my experience, it's very easy to lose competencies and skills, but a lot more difficult to acquire them again. Therefore, I have ensured that the preparation for the future is a personal priority, and I have ensured that our support to research and technology is a central polarized effort. I would like to welcome in the recent creation of the Rapid Club, gathering together some 250 small SMEs whose innovation projects have been supported by the system for support to dual innovation. The purpose of this club is to commercialize the result obtained with the primes so that they bring or they embed innovation at the heart of future systems. Rapid in a few years has come to be a major device supporting dual innovation of mid-market and small and medium-sized companies, and since 2009. The budget has gone from 45 million euros in 2014 to 50 million euros in 2015. It is one of the strong measures of the defense for the small and medium-sized companies in France. More widely, the DGA is devoting each year 90 million euros to research and innovation. In other words, 8% of the R&D budget of the defense sector. The more classic or traditional R&D hasn't been forgotten either, as far as land equipment is concerned. Main areas of effort in the next few years will be survivability, precision or accuracy and diversification of effects, robotization of contact actions, guided munitions or homing munitions, and the preparation of future standards for the Tiger helicopter and the renewal of combat systems and indirect fires. We have reached good results in 2013 in this area. For instance, the validation of composite nozzle in ceramic for the Tiger helicopter, demonstration trials for artillery ordnance, which are smart and equipped with laser semi-active guiding systems. This dynamism of our R&D is there to benefit our forces, but also our industries in particular, when they are trying to conquer international markets, such as this Eurosatory exhibition gives them the opportunity. You know, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the importance that I personally give to export. Export is the reflection of the competitiveness of our national equipment, and it's also a relay of growth for our industrial actors. I can see with great interest alongside you, because sometimes one tends to hear mainly a lot of bad news, except in the case of Honduras, France, of course. In the field of exports, let's not be afraid of displaying positive figures. In 2012, we had a total amount of exports which was 4.7 billion euros. And I can tell you today that the figure for 2013 is 6.7 billion euros. It's the total amount of the French export contracts in the field of armament, thanks to our joint action, which is an increase of 42% year on year with 2012. That is not small beer. And therefore, I am convinced that 2014 will be even better. I am certain that we will go beyond the 7 billion euros behind these figures, which we should, over which we should congratulate ourselves. With reason. There are some trends which can be identified. The French industry has renewed with its historical relationships in the Middle East. It has increased its settlement in the future markets of Asia and Latin America. All the sectors of the French defense industry have contributed to the growth of our exports, including those which have to do with land weapons, because they have shown a progression of 5% of their exports, and the prospects for 2014 are excellent. We'll be able to see that when the figures are published. These performances, the ones which we have, which we can report, the ones that we're expecting, are the fruit of the excellence of the materials and of the equipment and installations, and also of an active policy of support for exports in the field of defense. The state and the ministry of which I am in charge try to create an environment, a context which is conducive to exports. This goes by way of the reinforcement of defense cooperation with our partners. It goes through the respect of our partners, who are first and foremost partners before being customers or clients. And of course, what is essential is a climate of confidence and trust before the purchasing or the procurement action. That's where everybody has to play their role. This is also conditioned by the deployment of a dense network of defense attachés who are fully aware of their missions of supporting the export companies. We also have to listen to our partners so that personal relationship of trust can be fostered, trust and confidence being the bywords here. That's why I think and I want the state to support our foreign partners as well as our own industrials in the field of defense. So we want to be able to meet your needs, dear colleagues, to meet your requests within the framework of an honest discussion about our strategic interest, given the challenges posed by the world security. That's what I wanted to tell you while welcoming you to this exhibition. I wanted to thank you, Mr. President, for the quality of the organization and the quality of the stands, which I'm going to visit now. I particularly wanted to congratulate all the people who have contributed to making the stand of the Ministry of Defense a successful stand. I would like to wish you a very fruitful exhibition based on mutual respect, mutual trust and confidence, and I would like to thank you and wish you a fruitful exhibition.